Alright guys, in roughly the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm going to talk about the 2024 Honda HRV EXL, what I'm sitting in, and explain how this is different from other makes and models out there in the world, and how it stacks up to the 2023. So, let's go! At the front of this car, you've got a 2-liter engine putting out 158 horsepower, running out to a CVT transmission, then to 2-wheel or all-wheel drive. I'm going to throw a comparison up so you can see how does the 158 horsepower in this vehicle stack up to other makes and models out there in the world. While it's up, I'll remind you if you're in a 2023, not going to matter, the exact same engine and transmission setup. Now, let's talk about MPGs. This car gets 26 in the city and 32 on the highway. It's not incredibly great. You could jump up to the CRV and get 28 and like 34 if you wanted to, or jump up to a hybrid and get something crazy. But I want you to understand how this car stacks up against other makes and models out there in the world, so I'm gonna throw up that comparison. While that's up, I'll just remind you if you're in an all-wheel drive model, understand it is gonna be a little bit different. It's 25 in the city and I think 30 on the highway. Now, let's talk about 0 to 60 times. This car goes from 0 to 60 in 9.4 seconds. That is blazingly okay-ish. So let's throw comparisons to see how does this car stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. While it's up, I'll remind you if you're in a 2023, all these things I mentioned so far, the exact same. Now, when it comes to the front row of this vehicle, you've got 41.9 inches of leg space. That's where this gets kind of nice. The 41.9 is actually very usable. It's actually even bigger than the CRV, its big brother. So I'm going to throw a comparison up so you can see how the 41.9 inches of leg space stacks up against other makes and models out there in the world. While it's up, I'll remind you your center console is actually fairly narrow. So if you're a wider person, a big-bodied person, you can do a little bit of man spread, you'll be good to go. Now, jumping into the second row, you've got 37.7 inches of leg space in this vehicle. It's usable. When I sat behind myself with the seat pushed all the way back, I still had some space to work with. So 2 adults can easily fit in the back of this thing. So I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does this stack up against other makes and models out in the world. While that's up, I'll just remind you, doesn't matter, leg space on either one of these, it's the exact same whether you're in a 2023 or a 2024. Now, when you get to the back and you look at cargo space, this thing has 24.4 cubic feet of cargo space in the back with the seats folded up, right? The classic setup when you're driving down the road. I want to throw a comparison up so you can see how does that stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. While that's up, I'll just remind you, it's usable, right? If you wanted to throw some bags back there because you're an active person, maybe you play volleyball, maybe you go to the gym a lot, right? Maybe just one of those people carrying a bag and a water bottle everywhere that you go, you've got plenty of space to work with back there. Now, when you flip those seats down, you've got 55.1 cubic feet of cargo space in the back of this. It's actually very usable. If you're the kind of person that likes to go camping, it's very flat. You could throw an air mattress in there or just throw a sleeping bag in there and be good to go. If you happen to use bicycles, right, you could probably get in there if you took the wheel off or lay it on its side. But I want to throw that comparison up so you can see how does the 55.1 cubic feet of cargo space in the back of this vehicle stack up to other makes and models out there in the world. Let's talk about ground clearance. This car has 7 inches of ground clearance on the vehicle. Now, in the grand scheme of things, is that super awesome? No, not particularly. But if you needed to go somewhere and you wanted to go camping and get off the road a little bit, are you going to barrel out and, rip the oil pan under your car? No, it's absolutely usable. So I'm going to throw a comparison so you can see how does this car stack up against other makes and models out there in the world. After that, I just want to talk to you about those trim levels. I mentioned that this is the EXL, right? There's 3 trim levels, the LX Sport and EXL. So if you were in the EXL and decided, hey, I might want to drop down to that Sport, I don't know if I need all this and I don't know if I want to spend that money. 1, if I drop down the Sport, how much money is that going to save me? But then 2, what is that list of items that I'd be giving up by dropping down to the Sport? And then 2, if I go all the way down to the LX, the base model, how much money is it going to save me? And then what is that list of items am I giving up if I do that? Lastly, I just want to ask for a couple favors. 1, I hope you'll press the like button because you like the way I present the content. 2, I hope that you'll leave a comment. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, you feel like I missed something or you wish I'd add something, please do let me know. 3, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel so when I produce videos like this, you'll get them. And then 4, I hope that you'll share the video. If you've got some friends who are looking for a small SUV, pretty good content, or if you're shopping yourself, I hope that you'll share this with others to let them know I'm out there doing a pretty damn good job. So, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Later, guys!